Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Jeff, ArizonaHotHomestead. Today's video, we're going to continue this build on this room here. And if you haven't checked out some of the videos, you should do so. I'll put a link up here to a playlist of all the videos. Basically, I've got my outer sub wall on, and then I've got the vapor barrier on top of that. And most of you know it as Tyvek, except this is not called Tyvek because it just happens to be something else. So I can't actually show you how we put it up, but it was pretty simplistic. I'll just kind of show you a little bit of what we did. But yeah, work is coming along. It's still slow because of some of the factors I mentioned before about work and limited hours and being able to do it. It's like I only have like literally a couple 3 hours a week to work on this. So it's slowly but surely coming, and it will get done. So let me show you what I've got. So we are going to start here in the mudroom. The mudroom is 6 feet by 8 feet, and I'm showing the inside because this has already been wrapped with that waterproofing paper. I just used 1/2-inch OSB on here, and oh look, I missed a nail there. Tell you what, nailing some of this when you can't see your boards, kind of difficult. It was funny. What we did was we had one person on the inside, and as we would nail, they would tell us if we missed or not. So then we could at least re-nail it. They'd say, oh, I missed it on the left or whatever, and then we could slide it over. I laid some of these horizontal and some of them went vertical. There was really no rhyme or reason. It was just the way it ended up. Because the walls are actually greater than 8 feet, I had to put another piece up here. This window we actually put in after the OSB was on, and actually after the paper was on. So I'll do another video on all my openings, all the doors and windows. So I'll show you a little bit about how we frame that stuff up there. So you'll have to subscribe so you can catch that. Here's the door that's going to be right here. So I still have to cut out the door and frame up the door for there. And so again, I'll show you that when we get to it. But yeah, basically we've got all of our OSB on. So everything's good to go there. You may see what looks like an opening up there because that still is. And I'll put 2x10 blockings in between to help cover that up. So we'll be fine there. And there'll be obviously a sheet of plywood on there to give me a ceiling. But these 20 footers weren't long enough, so I put a kind of a facial board and then just added another 4 feet on the end. So I would have an overhang. Here is the opening of one of the patio, not necessarily windows because it's going to be a screened in. And then I'm going to take, it's not going to be an actual window, it's just going to be one big screened area. And then I'm going to put another one right here. Now what I did on this window, and again I'll show you some more details of all my windows and openings later, but I used a 2x8 up here, so I had a nice strong header so that it could handle the weight of my 2x10s up there, since this was such a big opening. And I also have another opening right there. So we'll start from the back side and kind of work our way around. It's called Everbuilt, so it's not Tyvek, it's Everbuilt. So it comes in this one here came in a 9-foot roll. So what we did basically was, as one person was holding on to the roll and gradually pulling it out, another person was putting these nails with these plastic washers on just to put it in place. Where's another one? There's another one. I'll show you a box of that here in a second. But basically, those are just kind of help hold it in place. I wanted to use those as opposed to using staples, because obviously that orange piece is going to hold on to it's going to have a better surface to hold on like a hand, whereas a staple might just cut through it. And this is kind of a woven paper. Let's see how this shows. See if we can get a good close-up of it. See, it's kind of a woven paper. Kind of like your feed bags. Can you guys see that? Now what we also did to help put these boards up was we nailed on, I gotta take these off, but we nailed on some holders down here, and that allowed us just to take the OSB and rest it on there. So we would level this, and then we would put that. And it's not all one piece, so we would just put a couple of them wherever we needed it, so that when we would lay the OSB down, it allowed us to hold it in one place and nail it down. So it was a lot easier than to trying to hold it up and straight and level and all that. It doesn't come with, but you gotta buy this paper. Now this tape? Now what's interesting is this is Tyvek tape. But what was interesting was it's the Everbelt wrap. So, and they're different companies. Now someone said something about this. If you notice, this is upside down. So someone was joking, one of my friends was joking about how because this is upside down, it's going to leak now. It ain't going to leak. Sorry dude, it ain't going to leak. It's just fine. Paper or this tape on this to tape up the seam. And I overlapped it a lot because this one here came around and went up to here, so I'm over like a good 10 inches or so, and like more than a foot right here in overlap. So I'm overlapped a lot. On my corners I overlapped it probably about a foot on each piece. Now they say to put this up, to put it up in sections, and that's kind of what we did. And I think the main reason why was because when you're dealing with something long and tall, I guess tall meaning it's going from the floor to the ceiling and it's 9 feet, and you're rolling it out and you have a long roll to deal with, a long space to deal with, sometimes it's easier just to cut it and do it in sections. We left it on the roll, pulled it out as we were doing these nails, and then we would cut it there and then start another one around. That worked out really, really good. Then when we came to this window, we cut it around the window. So we went over the window, and then afterwards we came in and we cut around the window. Now there's a big space here, and that's okay, because I'm going to have the T111 sidings are going to go right in here. And I've got some nice brown caulking that's the same, matches everything. But that's kind of what you're looking for. Is something similar to this. What should have happened was the window should not have been in. What should have happened was this should have been cut more like right about here, and then we should have used that tape flashing, and I'll show you what that is here in a second. Some tape flashing around the corner instead of this regular tape. And that would have sealed up this whole piece right here and then put the window in. But for some reason the window ended up going in first, and so we just had to work around it. That's why on this section here, I don't know if you can tell, but once I cut out this opening for the patio area, you can kind of see how right there. So what I'm going to do is when I get ready to put the screen in here and put the T111 on, we're going to cut this right about here, and then we're going to use that tape flashing around the whole thing. So that will seal this up really good. So this would be sealed up better than that. But I have a nice, this is actually over 4 feet overhang. So I should be okay. So far during the rains, there's not been a drop of rain that's touched this. Put tape down here in the bottom. See, this way I put it the right way, this way the upside down. So again, on this wall here, that's one piece right there. You can see the overlap, the thickness of it over there. What I kind of like about doing it this way was on the corners, that's where you're most likely to have your leaks. If it's your inner corner, your outer corner, whatever. So overlapping it, I think was an excellent idea, especially because I did it like a good foot or so. And then up there we just cut around it. There's no tape up there yet, but I'm going to put some tape on that piece up there. See, right up there. We'll put some tape up there before we put our T111 on. Alright, so looking at the mudroom now, there's going to be a door right here. So I'm going to frame in the door. And then once we frame in the door, then we'll cut out this paper and then do that flashing tape. This window here was done after the wrap was on. So what I did was obviously framed it and then we cut it out. This is that flashing tape that I talked about. Let's see what. See, it says window flashing. I love this stuff. It's not real thick. Let's see if we can kind of see. It's not real thick, but, and even though it looks like it's not sticking to this paper, it is. But see, what I could do is I could take this Tyvek tape and put right here if I wanted to, actually. So if I was concerned about that, I would. But I think because this overlaps a lot, that once I put my T111 on, we should be okay. So obviously when you're flashing your windows and doors, you always do the bottom first, and then you do your sides, and then you do your top. The idea is so that the water just kind of flows all the way down and it doesn't get caught on anything. Now over here on my barn, I've got it overlapped on my barn. Now and it looks darker right here because I have some of this tape flashing right in here to seal up this corner a little bit. So I've got that, and then I've got this Tyvek over here and the tape there. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to have my T111 go right up through here, and then I'm going to have another T111 go on top of this. And you guys may think that's nuts right now, but when it's done, it's going to tie this building in with this because it's going to be the same T111. Instead of this 4-inch, it's going to be the 8-inch one. And I'm going sideways with it. Instead of the vertical like this, it's going to go sideways. And in these grooves, I'm going to paint them like a cream color, kind of a grayish cream. Different, and then this is going to be kind of a brown, look like wood. So it will give the effect that this is chinking and it's like rough cut lumber. And I got to give credit to Doug and Stacy. Doug, who did that on his outdoor kitchen build, and it looked really cool. So I am going to copy his idea. I'm going to steal his idea. I'm going to do that all the way around this barn. Replace this here and do it around this entire Graceland barn, which is kind of cool because it gives you that extra thickness of, I guess, insulation, if you will. But more important is it's going to tie it together so that when you come back here, let's back up here, you'll have your T111 with these grooves, if you will, running this way and then all the way around here and then all the way down there. It's going to look really cool. It's going to tie the whole thing together, make it look like it was built as one. Nice little 4-foot overhang here, and then there's about a foot overhang there. I don't know if you guys saw in that other video I did, one of my earlier videos, right up in here there's an opening. Well, we've pretty much sealed that opening. We've sealed it with this with that 1-foot rafter, if you will, and then some that flashing tape, and that took care of it. That up there is already sealed, and so all I have to do is just change this out. Once I get my T111 on there, I'll put new trim on that roof, and then I'll be able to seal that up. So that's it for this video. Just wanted to show you I got my subwall on. That's what I call the first layer of that OSB. And then I put on this Tyvek, except it's called Everbuilt. Either way, it's a moisture barrier. And then I'm cutting out the openings, the windows, and the doors. And I'll show you guys that video when that time comes. So you'll have to stay tuned. You guys subscribe, catch all the action here on the homestead. My name is Jeff, and you've been watching Arizona Hot Homestead. See ya, bye, have fun. Did you subscribe?